Welcome everyone to another broadcast of Southern Virginia Athletics. Art Furler here with Mike Harmon as we get ready for tip-off of women's basketball. The Knights hosting the Nittany Lions of Penn State Harrisburg. Mike, it's only been a few days since we were here in a very heated contest that was just crazy. The Knights going down 30-16 in the first quarter, coming back and winning by 13 against the Seahawks of St. Mary. How do you, as a coach, how do you get your team to remember the good of that, build off the good, and not hang on to the bad?
Well, again, you look at the last three quarters and you try to build off of it. Hopefully they've been working on a lot of coming out and starting early, because against better teams, the CNUs, the Salisbury's, the St. Mary, I mean, not the St. Mary's, but the Mary Washingtons, if you get buried by that much, you're not going to be able to come back. Well,
it helps as well. Penn State Harrisburg, a winnable game today, about the same caliber as St. Mary's, who they just beat. Getting starting lineups right now. Let's start off the starters for Penn State Harrisburg that have already been announced. They're starting number 2, Key Carter, number 5, Rachel Miller, number 13, Caitlin Carmo, number 14, Precious Shirk, and number 23, Jasmine Yannick. You can see the Knights going through their pregame ritual now. Mike, who do we have starting for the Knights?
Number 20, Jamila Gamby. Number 22, Morgan Hartvigsen. Number 30, Meredith Willett. Number 31, Larissa McFarland, and number 41, Shelby Windsor.
Well, ending with Shelby Windsor there, she had a very difficult first half in the last matchup. Of course, she was matched up, we point out several times in that game, just a behemoth, the 6'3" girl down low, just really, really impressive. Be interesting to see if she can shake that off and have a better start. She's really been key to the Knights' successes when they've had them this season.
Well, Shelby needs to stay in the game a little bit longer. The good thing about the last game, though, is we saw the emergence of Kramer and Eads as they came in and gave a great lift to the Knights. So not only does Shelby need to be in the game, but now Kramer need to step up and play at that level for the rest of this season, and we should see the Knights get up closer towards those top 6 spots in the Capital Athletic Conference.
Yeah, huge lift off the bench, as you mentioned. That was a big factor in the Knights win the other game. And as you mentioned as well, Eads, who we had not seen previously, was in that walking boot, unable to contribute before, but really making her presence felt. And depth has been an issue for the Knights prior to that. So interesting to see as well how much they're able to contribute to this. Well, again, we get ready for tip-off. Go ahead.
You know, as bad or as poor as the Knights overall record is at 2-9, if they win this game, they could be potentially in a tie for 6th place in the Capital Athletic Conference, and that 6th place gets them into the tournament. There's a long way to go in the season, so those could fluctuate up and down, but you know, this is a great game for them to go ahead and win.
And we are underway. Key Carter securing the tip for the Nittany Lions. Going down low right off the bat to Carter. Well defended by Windsor, and Gamby comes up with the basketball, as she frequently does. End-to-end. Shot is no good, and the Knights go into that press. And a tie-up done very quickly. Great hustle play that time. McFarland able to step in, and the Knights press works very well early on.
It does, and we saw the Knights were able to change their defense from that man-to-man press to half or 2-2-1 full court press, a zone press, and had great success with against St. Mary's. As we see Willett there walk. If Harrisburg goes ahead and starts to figure out this man press, we look for the Knights to jump in that zone press quickly and not get behind like we've seen them in earlier games.
Well, when the defense has been working, the offense has been able to get going, but when it goes the other way, the offense really struggles as well. That first basket goes in for Miller.
Well, and I know that the team wants to go ahead and let their defense create a lot of offense, but really in the last game, their offense created their defense by letting them and allowing them to set up their press instead of just playing a havoc game.
Very true. A lot of work down low by McFarland. And shot drops off after many second chance points. Willett, made the basket, but a little too enthusiastic coming in after that. And when you come from behind the back like that, you're going to get that call every time.
Yeah, and we saw that the referees really like calling things, 90 feet away from the basket. It's usually
you don't have to run all the way down. Gives them a little break. Speaking of little break, or lobs way ahead, And it's going to stay with the Nittany Lions, but you can tell they've done their homework. They've seen this press, and they're playing quarterback there with the lobs down for the cherry picks. The Knights, though, a better job adjusting and being back to prevent that.
Well, the two matchups I'm really interested in is going to be with Windsor and Carter, and then McFarland and Carmo. Those two matchups are going to be very key in the outcome of this game.
That shot very short by Miller. And the press coming both ways now. 2-on-2 at the moment. McFarland pulls up and finds a trailing. Yes! Willett with the basket on the trail. And we'll get the foul as well. It's going to be Precious Shirk called for the foul, her first. And Willett with an opportunity to complete the three-point play. And no good, which means Shea Wilcox will stay at the scorer's table for just another minute. The Nittany Lions get out ahead 3-on-2. Shot is long. Nobody coming away with that rebound. It eventually goes out and high off the glass.
Wow. The banks are open sometimes on Saturdays.
Even on Saturday.
But I wouldn't count on that shot.
Not going throughout. Gamby comes up with it, and
good call for the travel as she and Shelby Windsor kind of collided a little bit.
You got it. Yeah. That is a stoppage of play, which will allow Shea Wilcox to come in.
And here's the 2-2-1 zone press that we saw be great for the Knights in the last game.
The Nittany Lions able to get it up court. Does take a lot of time off the offense. A lot of steps on that, but
well, she put her head down, and usually if you start taking off from the three-point line with one dribble, you can make it to the rim. And no Knight stepped in to try to deter her.
Shirk with that basket. Now back to the Knights. Shot just wide. The Knights step in, and it's thrown right back to Gamby. Numbers for the moment. And that was a smart play. Carter knocking that out of bounds. When you're 4-on-1, if you can get a stoppage and let your team get back and set up,
exactly,
that's a win.
Well, you can see that the Harrisburg's just trying to throw the ball deep down the floor as much as possible.
It's a good look that time. Windsor unable to connect with it. And a travel, and this press is really giving the Nittany Lions fits.
Well, the Lions are trying to have Carter dribble the ball, and anytime you have your center trying to dribble the ball, it's always a recipe of disaster. Good job by the Knights to recognize that and go and trap her. If Carmo starts dribbling the ball down the floor, she most likely shreds the defense. So great job of the Knights of keeping it out of her hands.
Willett now needs some help. McFarland there to provide it. Knights working well into the shot clock. This time Windsor steps. 10 seconds left, and that's just essentially thrown away. And the run out is good for Jasmine Yannick. The Knights started hot, but have since cooled off shooting-wise. Both teams getting sped up a little more than they'd like.
Foul on Gamby.
Yeah, 50-50 ball, perhaps.
Yep. It looked like, though, that the Penn State Harrisburg player Miller had her head just a little bit more in front of Gamby, and that's all it took for the referee to call that foul.
Katie Schwenk in the lineup for Penn State Harrisburg. Gamby just applying so much pressure, and it's enough that time. Doesn't get the steal, but forces the turnover.
You see Schrick and Miller talking there. Miller came up out of the corner. Schrick thought she was going to stay in the corner. Miscommunication, great opportunity for the Knights to cut into this lead.
Boy, McFarland a couple of times has really come back and helped out her point guard. Some fancy dribbling that time, but thrown right back. And we're coming back. Good ball movement, and the pull-up jumper is good.
Oh, and an injury
Caitlin
right here. Shirk has a little bit of an injury, so there.
So an injury, quick timeout.
Yeah, not even a timeout. The referee's just trying to get the player out of the game. Player safety is obviously the most important here, so
Absolutely.
They just stop the clock to get the player out. Shirk goes out. Have number 3, Urich back in.
And the lob. McFarland is just, her placement has been great all game long, and that a turnover. Windsor traveling. Again, your center is the ball handler while running up the floor. It's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, again, they're centers for reasons.
Yep. You don't ask your linemen to throw passes for you either.
Exactly.
Well long on the shot from the corner. And that's going to go over.
Backcourt.
Over and back.
And again, just not a lot of great outside shooting we're seeing from Harrisburg. If the Knights can continually to keep them outside the lane, good things can happen for them. The only one that I would be worried about on the floor now for Harrisburg would be Carmo. And if she starts to get hot, I would throw a double team at her.
Well, and the Knights' defense has been pretty good, but their offense has just really struggled. They've got to find some way to get some points on the board. Going inside to Windsor.
And
good.
Great job.
Morgan Hartvigsen for 3 has shown the ability in the past to really be a lift to this team from the outside. She's very particular about what shots she'll take, but she's good when she takes them. That 3, and then with the opportunity to get a 4th, Windsor and Willette will come out, which will bring in Eads and Wilcox. That foul, I believe, on Brittany Ulrich, her first, and hits the subsequent shot as well. It's a nice way to get a quick doubling of your score.
Yeah, there you go.
The three-pointer and the foul.
You know, and we've talked about this a lot. We'd like to see Morgan take a little bit more shots.
Yeah.
She is an offensive threat, so it'd be nice to see her line that shot up a little bit more often.
Knights swarming on defense, but when you swarm one person,
and the foul,
it leaves somebody open, in this case Key Carter, who gets the basket and the foul. Eads quick to get that first foul after just coming in. And Wilcox has had very short times in this game. I think that's her second, at least her second, maybe her third substitution in for Willette, but is only really out for one possession and then comes back. And that free throw rolls out. Bodies all over the place. The good look ahead. Once again, McFarland just always in the right place at the right time. That time it turns into a basket. Good work by Penn State to move it up floor quickly. Outside shot, well off the mark.
And again, I would keep them outside that three-point line and let them shoot as many as they want.
I believe they've now shot 3 three-pointers and haven't drawn iron or board.
Well, they got one, the bank shot.
You're right, you're right. So 1 of 4, that one was good. But certainly not high percentage. And I don't know why in that situation you go back to Windsor. She looked like she was surprised to get it.
She recognized, though, I got 2 dribbles and I'm going to pass the ball.
Really struggling on the offensive end, but that one well out in front. Gamby comes up with it. And the Knights have a power play for the moment. Oh, good ball movement.
Nice pass.
Windsor really struggling with her shot, though. Willette with the step back, also wide.
Nice.
McFarland again.
McFarland's all over the place.
She's like the old 90s Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Everywhere you want to be. Or in that better case, everywhere she needs to be.
Both teams, again, just going a little too fast. Players seem to be caught off guard with passes they're receiving. That one out of bounds. It will stay with the Nittany Lions as they bring in a couple of substitutions, Anna Edmondson and Ario Payne. Excuse me, Anna Edmondson. Referee's making sure we have everything straight as we prepare for the inbounds. There was only 20 on the shot clock to begin with. Nice reverse on that. Payne fakes one way, goes the other, and gets the open shot for 2. Gamby gets stuck, moves it around. It's Kramer she's working with. Windsor can't handle the pass, and the layup is good at the other end by Payne. A quick 4 for her after coming in the game.
Again, those high percentage shots that Harrisburg's able to get against the Knights was really putting them behind now in the score.
Knights working around, looking for an opening. Kramer, no good. Gamby with the rebound.
And stepped out of bounds.
Eads comes in to relieve Windsor. We also have Katie Schwenk entering for Penn State Harrisburg.
Here the Knights are in their zone press now.
The look ahead.
And off of Mattis' hands.
And looking for the touchdown this time. Up ahead, Gamby misses the layup.
And a foul. Looks like that'll be on Schwenk from Harrisburg.
It is indeed. You gotta say, it's not been pretty, but neither team really getting in a lot of foul trouble, which is something we've seen a lot of this season.
Yeah, the fouls aren't there, but the turnovers going back and forth have just caused a lot of inconsistency.
Got to get the pass in. And the 5-second count, it's coming the other way. Gamby steps right in front, though. Brings it back over, and Eads connects off the glass.
That's McFarland.
Excuse me. Of course it is.
Again, everywhere she needs to be.
Every single place. So far, let's take a look. The Knights with 12 points, 4 for Hartvigsen off of a single play, yes. 4 for Willette, and 4 for McFarland. On the other end, Penn State Harrisburg with 17, 2 for Carter, 4 for Payne off the bench, 2 for Miller, 2 for Carmo, 2 for Shirk, and 5 for Yannick. Very distributed scoring there. The Knights bunching up just a little bit. But already 6 players on the board for the Nittany Lions, including all 5 starters.
Yeah, and a lot of their shots are the very high percentage shots within about 8 feet from the basket.
The ones that layups too.
Yeah, the ones that the Knights have been able to keep them outside the lane. The Lions are not shooting a very good percentage.
Gamby with another steal, but a bad pass.
And
it's
calling a kick on Willette. If it was an intentional kick and there was no ball,
right?
The ball is not being possessed.
Boy, you don't see that call very often.
Not very often.
That's disappointing, especially after that great steal. Numbers again. But the Knights able to come back after the Nittany Lions struggle to gather the pass. Good three-point shot, all things considered, but does not go in. Penn State Harrisburg going to reset. Good look over the top, but you're throwing to...
I don't know if I'd throw to a 5'3" guard.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not your center you're throwing to down low. Great effort by Shirk, but can't quite get up enough to get it. Gamby all the way to the basket, and it's fouled on the way up.
Foul on Carmo.
I don't know if we've had a game yet this season, Mike, where we've gotten all the way through the first quarter and nobody's had 2 fouls, but we may very well end up there.
And that would be a great omen for the Knights.
It
would be great is not getting into the bonus or the free throw shooting after 5 fouls for each quarter. 2 minutes to go with that, so it's again another good omen.
Yep. Wilcox and Hartwigson in for Kramer and Willett. Both free throws no good for Gamby, who unfortunately compounds it with the immediate foul. You know, Gamby is a very streaky player.
And you jinxed us.
Yeah, I jinxed us. No. I don't take credit for that. That was that was pretty clear what happened there. But she can be very streaky. Like, so far she's had every steal seems to motivate her more, as that just an easy look ahead. But the Knights able to contest the shot sufficiently. Still all over the place. Shot is up and good. That is a 3 from Carmo.
And she's one that you do not want her to start to get hot.
Gamby slashes. No good. 2-on-2. Penn State working it around, looking for the opportunity. Resets back up top. Now 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ticking down, 5. Got to get a shot off. And they do.
And the foul called.
You play good defense for 27 seconds and then foul right there at the end. That's frustrating. McFarland called for the foul. That is her first.
And she was asking, what did I do? I had my hands up. Must have been a little bit with the body pushing in. It's just one of those things where you think you played great defense for all that time, and then the offense, because of the freedom of movement, being able to move around, can create some contact, and it's called both ways on both ends, so that you can't argue with the way that the referees are calling the game on that.
Agreed. That's Carmo in for, or excuse me, Gamby for Kramer, and both are good for Carmo that time. The lead now ballooned to 10 as we get under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Knights would love to bring it back to single digits. The opportunity to do so here. Good look. The
nice
shot.
Backdoor cut.
Yeah, shot doesn't drop, but it was a great attack of the basket. And Key Carter now gets her second, so now both teams have a player with a couple of fouls, as Janelle Brown to the scorer's table for the first time for the Nittany Lions. And that shot no good. The Knights really have been hurting from the free throw line so far in this game. And both missed there. Knights with the rebound though. Windsor takes the long shot.
And Gamby and Windsor just have not been on tonight at all.
A lot of woes from on their shot. It will stay at this end. 15-second difference between shot and game clock. The Knights can't hold for the last shot on this one. Hartwigson. Windsor from top. There we go. You'd love to see that, especially as you get ready to head into the end of the quarter. And that pressure really, really ramping up. The Knights forced a turnover for the moment. That was a lot of time. And the ref's talking it over a little bit. We'll see about the call. And it's a 10-second violation. It's in the backcourt. That's got to be difficult as a player when the shot clock is off to know exactly how much you have, exactly when you need to get it there. And that suffocating pressure by the Knights certainly contributing as well. Willett and Eads now in the game for this last 18.4 seconds of the first quarter. You definitely want to hold for your last shot here. Knights have cut it to 8. Would love to get it to 6 or fewer.
Nice high-low.
And Eads with a turnaround. That was pretty. 4 seconds left. The Knights just have to prevent a shot.
And they do.
Boy, being down 10 with a minute left, you got to be okay with getting it down to 6 to end that quarter. All good things.
Yeah. Again, the Knights, once they can get into their offense and run some offense, that high-low set we saw them last game, and we just saw them there with Eads and Windsor. If they can run that more often, we should see a lot more scoring, which would set up their defense, which would cause Harrisburg have to slow down a little bit and face some pressure. Again, offense needs to lead to defense. I know Coach wants the defense to be the offensive side of the ball, but sometimes you have to be able to score in order to get that defense to be set up.
Yeah, and some very encouraging things we saw offensively there at the end. You see, I believe that was Windsor's first basket of the game, even though she's taken a lot of shots. So good to see that. Eads' first basket of the game. That's a couple of your post players starting to connect. And frankly, for the Knights to be doing as well as they are, just trailing by 6 with as many shots as they've missed and as much as they've struggled down low, really should give them some hope that if they can clean those up, they're really in this.
Yeah, both teams, as you said earlier, in this first quarter, just not a lot of flow going back and forth, a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots, looked like a lot of rush shots. Hopefully now in this second quarter, things start to settle down, both teams settle in, and we'll see a good free-flowing game, obviously with the Knights coming out on top.
Well, and it's been, we said Wednesday, it was a strange night. It might be stranger for me to say this, Mike. I've been really impressed by this officiating crew today.
Yeah.
They've kept control of things. There's been good calls. There's been good no calls. Everything so far seems pretty consistent. And that's all you can ask for.
Nice. Willette with a shot block there on Carter.
Yeah, forcing him to pull back out. Ooh. And forcing a bad pass. Windsor now on the break.
Yeah, that's a tough pass to catch, only 3 feet away from you, coming right at your face.
Yeah, especially with several players in between. Hartvigsen, good dodge on the first one, but then looks off the shot. Good look inside. McFarland comes up with it. That one, Windsor's had a difficult time gathering passes as well. It's coming back. 4 Knights there fighting for it. The ball pops loose.
And out on the
It's going to go the way of the Knights. Looks Miller up a little shaken after that. The Knights fortunate considering that situation to come up with the stop and the ball.
Yeah, a lot of layups being missed. They may be looking
on
for
both ends.
Yeah, they may be looking for someone coming behind to block their shot. But again, if you've never got your shot blocked, you never played the game of basketball.
Right. Eads tries to take on too many, which leads to the turnover. And the outside shot there goes wide. And a push call. It's going to be on Miller, her first foul. So we've got a minute and 16 seconds here in this second quarter with no score. Willette overcoming some pressure. Good look inside. Shot just long by Kramer. Backcourt pressure still. And Lions run through it. And that's going to be, count it. Hartvigsen called for the foul. That'll be her first.
Again, when you got Carmo going towards the basket, she is the one player that can remain under control with her body and
all the way through.
And put the ball in. She's not one that you want to get going towards the basket. Keep her out.
Yep. Abby Hamby checks in for Penn State Harrisburg, making her first appearance. And that Carmo's three-point play is completed as she's got 10. Has been the backbone of the Nittany Lions offense so far in this contest. Windsor tries to dribble through defenders, doesn't work out. Oh, good fake that time by Carmo and finishes it herself now with 12. And that's a timeout taken by Coach Roberts. Full timeout. I got to imagine it's probably going to be a, hey, you see that girl wearing number 13? We should do something about her.
Yeah, don't let her get a full head of steam once she gets the ball. Again, earlier in the first quarter, they did a great job of keeping it out of her hands and keeping it in Carter's hands, their center, and a lot of turnovers happened then. Right now, Carmo's gotten the ball on the far end and been able to bring it all the way down and just made the Knights pay.
Well, and if you look across the board at the scores for the rest of the team, you can combine any other 3 players on Penn State, and they don't have as many points as Carmo. So for right now, you body up her, you take it away from her, and if somebody else steps up, you can make an adjustment then. But as for right now, it's pretty clear who's putting the points in, and that's who you guard. And from the Knights' end, it's the exact opposite. We mentioned earlier, Hartvigsen, Willett, McFarland, all with 4 apiece. Since that time, none of them have scored. Eads has 2, Windsor has 2, but still the Knights yet to score here in this second quarter. Back underway. Willett looking for an opening, and a foul to be called. That's a reach by Shirk.
Her second.
Yeah, as I said, fouls have pretty much been the story of this season. Not so in this game. Key Carter, Precious Shirk with 2 apiece for the Nittany Lions. Gamby with 2 for the Knights. And a smattering of folks on both sides with 1. A little inside-outside game. The shot is blocked.
And they got.
Ooh.
Now that's a great thing for the Knights.
Talk about the commentator curse. I just said fouls hadn't been a concern, but all of a sudden, we got 7:43 left in this second quarter, and Shirk picks up a quick third. Windsor now at the line. And connects on the first.
And it looks like if Carmo's out for the rest of this quarter, that's a great opportunity now for Knights not only to catch up, but to go ahead and take the lead because she's done it a little bit of everything for them, kind of like McFarland for the Knights.
So, correction, I got that wrong. You're right. That is a foul on Carmo, her second. So 2 on Carmo, 2 on Shirk. But still, that's actually probably even better for the Knights.
Oh, much better for the Knights.
Great stop that time. McFarland finds Wilcox. Hartvigsen from outside. No good. The long pass to the Nittany Lions. They're just lobbing all over the place. The Knights packing it in. And Windsor able to come up with it and just about throws it away. Wilcox able to get in front of the pass. The lead is 9. Windsor, no good. And fouled on the way up this time is Kramer. That's going to be on Aereo Payne, her first foul.
Well, again, and as soon as Carmo goes out, they start to take advantage of it. Got a steal. Didn't get the points off of it a few minutes earlier, but came down, kept the Lions out of the lane, and got a great rebound, and now opportunity to cut into the lead.
Eads coming in for Southern Virginia. Edmondson and Bailey coming in. Bailey making her first appearance for Penn State Harrisburg. And the free throw line has been killing Southern Virginia in this basketball game, Mike.
And that's unusual because in the past we've seen the Knights step up to the line and shoot a very good percentage.
There it is. Kramer getting her first point of the game on that second. And it's turned over. It's going to go the way of Southern Virginia. Willett in for Wilcox again. Coach Patrick arguing that it was tipped. Still having a bit of a conversation with the referee about it, but they are set that is not the case. And now it's the foul on Abby Hanby. All of a sudden the fouls are piling up. Which on the one hand you gotta like if you're the Knights, but on the other, the line has not been kind. Katie Schwenk coming in for Penn State Harrisburg.
Yeah, but the only way you can remedy that is to get to the line even more. And
right.
Now the Knights will be shooting 2 shots from the line for the rest of the fouls.
For 7 more minutes.
So 5 fouls in 3 minutes by the Lions. That's got to be something that they have to be concerned about down on the coaching staff for the Lions.
Absolutely, and 2 apiece on 3 of their starters. The free throw woes continue, though, as Eads misses the first, makes the second. And the Knights continue in the press. Good hustle play once again. McFarland, exactly where you want to see her.
And again, with Carmo out, they really have no one that can break this press by themselves.
McFarland reaching in and ultimately.
And if that's on McFarland, it'll be her second.
Yep, that's going to be on McFarland. That is her second. Windsor comes back in for Eads. Maybe, nope, for McFarland. Hartvigsen in defense. Nittany Lions with one of the rare opportunities to run with a full 30 seconds, and they don't take it. Offensive foul. Kimberly Eads steps in and takes the charge. Boy, not too often that you see a center take a charge from a guard. The size comparison on that, sufficient, I guess, to knock her to the ground and get the call. Lead back down to 7. Willette looking for space, can't find it, pops from the outside. The pressure is on. Harrisburg able to get out in front of it, 4-on-1. And the basket is good for Katie Schwenk, her first of the game. The Knights now looking to run it back. Hartvigsen, defended by Bailey, to Windsor. Kick outside, Kramer. Got it! 3-pointer for Autumn Kramer.
A nice extra pass there from Shelby Windsor.
Very true. The lead now 6. A little too fancy on the dribbling. Hartvigsen goes to the deck for it. Windsor at the other end. No good on the layup. And it's coming back for the Nittany Lions. Good pass in. No good. And it's going to go back the way of Southern Virginia. Substitutions in for Penn State Harrisburg. Shanique Mattis, her first entrance to the game, and Key Carter, who of course has been in and out a lot. The inbound to Windsor.
Well, right now, Harrisburg is just in survival mode till halftime so they can get Carmo back in the second half. The Knights in that mode of, hey, she's out. We need to take advantage of this offensively and defensively.
Nittany Lions have ramped up the pressure defensively, though. 10 seconds. Knights have got to find something. Skip over the top, Kramer.
Oh, and a nice little hand check going to the free throw line.
Becca Bailey called for the foul. It will be her first.
And again, the way the referees are calling it, I don't know why we don't spread it out on both the men's and the women's team.
Yep.
Spread it out. Attack the basket. It seems like every time there's a great attack from the basket from the weak side, somebody puts their hands on it, hand check, and we go to the free throw line.
That free throw connects by Kramer. She's now the first Knight with 5 or more. And if you told me before the game she'd have been the first to 5, I don't know if I'd have believed you, but the Knights very distributed scoring.
That three-pointer helps.
Yeah, it's true. Makes them both, which is great news for the Knights, especially considering they've got 5 minutes where every foul will send them to the line. The lead down to 6. Penn State Harrisburg pops for 3, got it. That's Rachel Miller, her first 3 of the game. He was well behind the line on that as well, Mike. Oh, pass just too high.
You know, I think Shelby's trying to do a little bit too much. Her game is face up to the basket, jump, shoot, and back to the basket.
Oh. And that's going to be
a foul on Muse.
Yeah, Nicole Muse, who just came in. Looked like a good tip away this way. Must have had a hand on the back. And the immediate turnover the other way, that's Brittany Ulrich. Both teams have been pretty liberal with their benches so far. And Shea Wilcox subbing for Willette again. Boy, she's had a lot of times coming in, but has not spent a lot of time on the floor.
Well, we could do a lot of speculation.
Sure. Oh. Inside out, looking for Windsor, couldn't get it.
3 seconds on Windsor.
The lead at 7. That would have been the opportunity to cut it to 5 for the first time in a long time. Oh, offensive foul. Yeah, with the forearm pushed off. I think that's a good call right in front of us here. That's a tough call to make, but it's a good heads-up call by the referee that time. When you extend that forearm and push off, especially when the Knights are trying to pack it in like that defensively, it's a good call. And now with the opportunity to perhaps go to 5. Windsor finds Muse. Back to Hartvigsson, Willette. Kramer swinging around every night, touching the ball, and that's why good ball movement is so important. The defense adapting and readapting and readapting. Cannot get everywhere they need to as quickly as the Knights can move that basketball. Windsor, her first bucket from down low, bodes very well, and the foul to boot.
And now both of the, so to speak, stars for the Lions are out, with Carter with 2 and Carmel with 2.
And the free throw good as well for Windsor. The Knights within 4 for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, this next 4 minutes, the Knights can try to get that lead going into halftime would be great.
Open jump shot from the outside. Connects from Yannick. Oh, a 14-footer. And a travel. That was interesting. Kramer seemed confused by that one as well. Eads in for Windsor. Oh, Muse tips it away to Hartvigsson. But the Nittany Lions able to get it back. Jasmine Yannick working the ball to Mattis. To Edmondson and across the middle. Oh, hey. A lot of contact and a travel.
She was on her back.
Yeah.
And then when you sit up.
Yeah. You're right. I'm not frustrated with the call. I'm frustrated with it's like a scrum out there.
Before that, that's what we're frustrated with, right? I mean, you can't jump on top of each other.
Yeah, you can. It's a scrum. That's what I'm saying.
Well, then we need to be playing with a little oblong ball in rugby, right?
Yeah. Good lob over the top. Second chance. Good box out by Eads after that. Just backing away Schwenk, preventing her from being able to come up with that rebound. The Knights looking to cut into this, and another travel called.
Yeah, she shuffled her feet there before she took off.
It's true. I think that's at least 2. I think maybe 3 in this quarter on Kramer. She's having a difficult time.
Just need to settle down a little bit.
There's that lob ahead. The Nittany Lions using it to break the press. Eads steps in, and the pass to Janelle Brown for the layup. Lead back to 9. Wilcox finds Eads and will get the foul. It's Janelle Brown, her first. Well, you can tell Penn State's been working their way through the bench because they've got 10 players with fouls.
Yes.
Not to mention a few that have been on the floor without them.
Well, the Knights have been able to play so far both quarters without getting into that 5th foul, so Penn State gets to the free throw line.
Yeah, we really can't tell terribly well how the Nittany Lions have been doing free throw shooting wise. They haven't spent a lot of time at the line. 1 for 2 that time for Eads. So the Knights' struggles continue. And that Shot gets up over the rim well enough to drop for Ulrich. Her first basket. We've got 9 players on the Nittany Lions that have scored already. As long as we're talking about spreading it around. Not a wise pass across the middle, but too many players on Penn State Harrisburg trying to come up with it.
Yeah, dribbled it right off of your teammates' legs. If you're Coach Patrick over there, you're not too concerned about that. That's a nice hustle thing that happens. It's the extra rebounds that the Lions have been giving up to the Knights.
Kramer this time, short, tipped out by Eads. Great job working down low against a couple of people. Hartvigsen tees it up. Just long on the 3. Muse steps in. But Harrisburg able to come up with the rebound. Pushing ahead quickly.
Little teardrop, not going to find the bottom of the basket.
Nicole Muse now running it for the Knights. To Willette, to Kramer. Looking for contact, finds it. No good. And a technical foul, I believe. Technical foul has been assessed against Coach Ross Patrick of the Nittany Lions.
He was calling for a 3-second, stomped his feet a couple times. Obviously, we're not going to have that today.
Clearly not.
Let's see. Looks like.
So debating they're going to put Hartvigsen at the line for the technical.
Yeah, it looks like he called the technical before the foul, so.
And meanwhile, there's conversations with referees and coaches all over the place.
Yes.
Hartvigsen's like, while you do that,
I'm going to
go ahead and get some free throws. Boy, you'd love to see her be more assertive on the offensive end, not only because she's a great shooter in her own right, but she's a very consistent free throw shooter as well. So if she does get it.
That's a point of interruption, so the shot clock shouldn't have been reset.
So, back underway. The lead is still 8. A lot of contact. No foul call that time on Windsor. Her shot misses. And the Nittany Lions making an effort now, trying to stretch that lead back out before halftime. A lot of dribbling. And the foul is going to be called on Eads, her second. Amazingly, just the 4th, so it's an inbounds play, not free throws being shot. Looking inside, and now
that'll be the 5th. But
Windsor's
first, which is a great reversal of roles from last game.
It is. 10 total fouls on the night so far. And my unofficial count is 14 for Penn State Harrisburg. Janelle Brown hits her first. I always like seeing post players hit their free throws, no matter what team they're on.
Shows a certain amount of skill.
It does. Good form as well, making them both.
Oh, and
foul on the inbound.
Great job by Willette to make sure she keeps her body between the ball and the defender.
Yep. That's going to be Bailey's second. The lead is 10, so a lot of things going the way of the Knights so far, especially here in this second quarter. Free throw shooting not been one of them.
Yeah, but we thought once Carmo went out and Carter that the Knights should be able to break into that lead. It was 10 when Carmo went out, and it stayed the same.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Despite all the things going the way of the Knights, the score has not. And the free throw woes continue.
In the first quarter, we did see the Knights be able to score 6 points in less than a minute, so hopefully that's going to happen here.
Good ball pressure. That shot off. and toes on the line while trying to make the save. The Knights will have the basketball with just over a minute to play. Willett and Wilcox will be on at the same time now. Nicole Muse coming out. The Knights to inbound. Do so to Windsor, who wisely gives it to Wilcox to bring it up the floor. And the high shot by Windsor is no good. Knights trap in the corner.
Oh, and it went off of Blue after she pounded it off of Windsor's foot.
Trying to throw it off of the Knights. But it'll stay at this end. Kramer up top for the Knights to Wilcox. Good look over the top. Windsor pulls up and gets it. 2-second difference between shot and game. Nittany Lions trying to run their offense. Coach Patrick screaming for him to hold it. Does not want another offensive opportunity for the Knights. It's close enough. That shot, no good. Coach Patrick not happy about that. The Knights now trying to get one last shot. Good look inside.
Oh, and they're going to say it's a clean block.
Yep, and that'll do it.
And the Knights do get into that 10-point lead.
They do, a little bit.
Yeah, only down by 8 now.
A very tumultuous second quarter after a pretty calm, I'd say sloppy first quarter for both teams. The second one, I would say, was a little bit more clean, maybe? That's not really the word for it.
It's not that
orderly? No.
Not even orderly. Both teams are very disjointed offensively right now. Defensively, we could sit here and talk about how they've done a great job of limiting Stars their touches, but offensively, just very disjointed. It makes the defense look so much better. If either team can clean up their offense in the second half, that would just really catapult them forward.
Yeah, both teams really struggling. I'll say intentional. The second quarter was more intentional. It was less reactive, I think. We'll see. I'll be very interested to see what the stats look like when they come in here in just a minute. But we're going to break away for the half. The Southern Virginia Knights trailing the Penn State Harrisburg Nittany Lions 33-41. Stick around, folks. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with some stats in the beginning of the second half. Welcome, everyone, to the beginning of the second half, the third quarter, I guess, however you want to see it. Technically, both are correct.
Both are correct.
Of Southern Virginia Knights women's basketball hosting the Penn State Harrisburg Nittany Lions, trailing by 8. Before we get into the stats, wonderful, just met David Beatty's mom.
David Beatty's mom came over to say hello, so we'll give her a couple shout-outs during the men's game also.
Absolutely, and I love it. She comes over, she says, you tell it like it is. Give them a hard time when you need to. That's a mom for you right
That's
there.
a mom for you.
Well, boy, speaking of telling it like it is, looking into that first half, there are some just staggering numbers. We start out shooting percentage. The Knights shooting 28.6 from the field versus the 44 from Penn State Harrisburg. Very difficult to win basketball games with that kind of comparison. The other one that I keyed in on pretty quickly was rebounds. 24 total for Penn State, 16 total for the Knights, and 6 versus 15. Penn State in the lead rebounds. You had a couple of key stats as well, Mike.
We got to look at the free throws. 5 of 6 for the Lions. 11 of 21 for the Knights. Those are free points the Knights cannot afford to just give up all the time. Reverse that, if they shoot a decent percentage like they usually do, they're only down by 1 or 2 points. So it's something that we have to look at in the second half to make sure that they continue to get to the line, but when they get there, they need to be effective.
Well, and it's got to be concerning that you shot 15 more free throws than your opponent in the first half, and you're still down 8 points. And turnovers, I think, is another key stat. Just sloppy on both ways. 20 to 18. The Knights actually leading in that category.
Well, both teams are back to full strength. We see both Carter and Carmo out for the Knights. Gamby and McFarland are back in for the Knights. So it's full strength for both teams.
It's like the Knights, again, trying to make sure everybody touches the ball on the first possession. Gamby pulls up from the free throw line, gathers her own miss, and makes the second.
And there she's trying to just be a stat stuffer by getting an offensive rebound.
Yeah, why not? Her first points of the game. That bodes well for the Knights now. And steps in front as a player kneels down over her, setting up a three-pointer for Caitlin Carmo, who's very happy to say, I'm back in this game. The quick possession and back the other way, but Penn State getting a little ahead of themselves.
Yeah, both teams trying to score, very quickly and just rushing way too much. Obviously, that's what the Knights want the Lions to do, is rush way too much. It'd be nice to see the Knights to be able to take some time, run that little high-low that we saw so successful.
And a travel on the first possession by Windsor. Her struggles continue. That's another one we looked across that stat sheet. A lot of turnovers at 7 and 3 for 10 shooting. She has hit all 3 of her free throws, though, which is baffling considering the Knights' struggles there.
Yeah, everybody else is having many problems.
The ball just slipping away from everybody.
Yeah, it's like no one wants to hold on to it today. Maybe they've greased it during halftime.
Bacon's the big thing these days.
And Carmo is really feeling it now.
18 points for Carmo. And the Knights so far just do not have an answer for her.
3 seconds in the lane now on Farland.
Well, it's the first time she hasn't been where you've wanted her to be.
Exactly. And this is something that we haven't seen lately. The Knights usually come out in the third quarter really ready to play and have put it to their opponents. 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Oh, and no, the
bailout call taken by Coach Patrick. Yeah, you're right, though. The Knights typically start the third quarter very energized. It's been a time they've regularly made some runs.
Yes.
Not so in this one.
Not yet.
Right, it's true. It's still early, but they've declined, or that deficit so far has increased. Where's the Nittany Lions so far?
Well, again, both teams coming out just seeming to be out of sorts on the offensive end, except for Carmo, and she is the bailout for the Lions. We really haven't seen a bailout offensive player for the Knights yet. In this game, we've seen in other games it's either been McFarland who's bailed the Knights out, or Hartfordson, or Windsor, or Willette. But today, no one's really stepped up to be that person.
The long ball is good to Carter. No good, though.
And Willett with the rebound.
And throws it right up to Carter.
To Windsor.
It's just hot potato.
Yeah, it is. No one wants to release the ball.
And that.
Oh, my goodness.
Sure.
So we've turned this game into a playground action.
In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. At least that was a shot that went up and it happened to go in.
That's right.
Neither team really able to put together an offense prior to that.
There we go. Willett able to come off the high screen, find a little bit of room and put the ball in the basket.
And Gamby with the quick steal and a good look to McFarland.
Over to Hawkinson, just behind her again. Everybody's trying to do a little bit too much with the ball.
Too much on that pass, I think. And now numbers for the Nittany Lions.
Oh, and it's going to be the third foul on McFarland.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult pill to swallow. I do believe she's the first Knight that has reached 3.
And she's the first player overall to reach 3.
That's right.
A lot of players have 2. So she just happens to be the first one to get there. It's not like she's the only one that's going to get there.
Not the race you want to win, though.
No.
And boy, three-point shooting has been very impressive by Rachel Miller. She started off with some pretty ugly ones, but has since hit some very pretty threes.
Get another high screen for Willett.
Same place she made the last one, off the mark on this one.
And the Knights shouldn't notice.
Oh, and a travel. Gamby steps in and just breaks that rhythm of Miller.
Well, you notice if the Knights will keep on going off the screens, the defender is going under the screen, no matter where they're at. So if they keep on going under the screen, you're going to have some nice 15-foot shots.
Well, and you could say in the first half, the Nittany Lions really struggled from the outside, but unfortunately the Knights giving them some outside shots this half has been a poor choice, as Penn State's really done some damage from there. 3 threes, I believe, already in this third period. Shot is up. Gamby with the rebound. And McFarland called for the travel underneath. Well, it's good to see that the effort as well, though, by the Knights. Rebounding really a struggle in the first half, but they're making a concerted effort here in the beginning of the second to close that gap.
Well, when you go in at halftime, you look at things and you pick out 2 or 3 things that you really got to focus on. You can't focus on everything. And another, and they called a foul. I thought it was going to call the walk, but called a foul.
Yeah, trying to clear out, make some room. And Ulrich, that's her second.
A lot of people with 2 now.
Lots of folks with fouls, lots of folks with points. By my count, Miller has 10. Carmo with 18. Besides that, nobody more than 7 or 8 on either team. That shot is long by Wilcox. Able to come up with it with the help of Eads. And misses the layup.
Oh, and Eads is just looking, Carmo was just looking for a foul.
And the Knights struggling over and over again and ultimately give up the possession.
And I don't know what to say right there. It's just a lack of concentration on the part of the Knights. When you have a 4-on-0 and an offensive rebound, you got to be able to put the ball in.
Well, you could tell it was desperation at that point. They were, Morgan Hartwigson is absolutely capable of making that shot.
With her eyes closed.
Yeah, but when you put too many bodies packed in that close, you're essentially defending yourself. You don't want to do that, or trying to get it up quickly, not realizing you have a second to take it, make sure you get a good shot.
Well, plus your mind starts racing. Okay, after I make this shot, what do I have to get on defense? On the other side, you have Carmo, who was just seeking bodies and trying to throw herself into bodies to get a foul called. Obviously, the referees have caught on to that and said, hey, you know what, if you're going to try to make the contact, we're not going to make that call.
We're not going to give that to you.
On the foul. So, again, just that was a action-packed 20 seconds. Unfortunately for the Knights, we come out on the wrong end of it with a foul.
Very true. In this third quarter, not going the way of the Knights in general at this point. They have been outscored 11-4 with some very quick scoring, and perhaps even more concerning than that is where it's come from, which has been the perimeter, which was a weak spot of Penn State in the first half. Now they've got options everywhere. Gamby stepping in.
That was a great trap because they had her over in the coffin corner. Anytime you pick the ball up in any one of the corners, you're going to get trapped by this Knights team. And if you don't have a place to throw it to right away, more times than not, the Knights will get the steal.
The defense for the Knights has been holding relatively well, but they have got to make some baskets.
Yeah, if you hold your team you're playing to 0 points the rest of the way, but you don't score any points yourself, you still lose.
Well, and you've got to give your defense a time to set up too. There's a good shot off the glass by Windsor. Now she's got 10 for Southern Virginia. I would be very interested to know the number of traveling violations on both teams so far tonight, Mike. It is a very large number.
A vast number. Just again, both offenses try to get going a little bit faster than they need and shuffle those feet before they take off on their dribble.
The Knights scored on that last possession. Would love to chain a couple together, but not so. Penn State setting up on the inbounds, and a late substitution that's going to be coming in. That's Precious Shirk, who's going to come in for Key Carter. Excuse me, Key Carter now coming in as well. Janelle Brown coming out, along with Brittany Ulrich, I believe. Ooh, Windsor lucky to not get a foul on that.
Yeah.
The Knights really amping up the defensive energy, hoping it'll transition into some offense. Another shot from outside. That
great box out there by McFarland.
It was indeed. The bench calling to McFarland that there was a trailer, and she realizes just in time to maintain possession. Pulls up at the free throw line. And tipped out. The lob ahead. And a good hustle that time by Shirk to get to it. Very long, well over the back. No call. Coming the other way. Wilcox. No good. McFarland. No good.
And again, just
too fast.
Wow, just both teams up and down, throwing the ball away left and right. Just something that I don't know how the viewers at home are seeing this, but if they're seeing it the way that we are, it's just something that is hard to watch.
It is. It's not pretty. I mean, there's no way around it. It's sometimes you get low scoring or you get missed shots because you have tenacious defense, and there's been good defense, but a lot of the mistakes have been unforced by both teams.
Yeah, this last two minutes has just been unforced error after unforced error.
Good look, McFarland. No good. And another lob ahead. Wilcox back on the break. 2-on-1, that's about the best you can ask. Yannick with the basket for Penn State. Wilcox again. Takes it in, tries to find McFarland, but can't do it, and the race is on. First shot is off. Stick back is good by Key Carter. There's got to be a timeout coming, doesn't there?
Well, it'd be nice to see the Knights run a little high-low now with Windsor and McFarland.
And that three is good. Morgan Harvickson hits. The Knights need her to take more shots. They just need her to take more shots. There's no other way to say it. She has been the most consistent offensive deliverer. Ooh. Willett hits the ground on the foul by Miller. That's going to be her third, I believe.
So now both teams have someone with 3 fouls on them.
Boy, that's the crazy thing, too. We've gone all We've gone 7 minutes in this. There's only 4 fouls after that second quarter, where there was, what, 7 minutes left when there was already
Knights
5?
Already in the
bonus? Yeah.
Oh, and they catch the Lions unaware.
And makes the layup.
Bring it back to within 12.
Kramer, despite Carmo's defense. And now Penn State looking to respond. That's Shanique Mattis in the game. Carmo drives. Under 10. Looks to lob over the top. Good job by Kramer boxing out. Preventing that pass completion. Carter will get a rest. Brown will come back in. The Knights with a chance to cut it to 10. Or single digits with a 3. And again, if it's me, I'm looking for Hartvigsson. Wilcox, a little shake and bake.
Oh, and they call her with a palming.
Something else you don't see terribly often.
Not terribly often, because if we watch, every time someone dribbles the ball, they do turn it over.
Well, if you're looking for things you don't see terribly often, we got a lot of them here today, though.
But we've been able to see that in the past couple games.
It's true. Oh, and that layup missed. And the reset for Penn State. Kick out. 3 is long. Back inside. No good. And the foul is going to be called on Becca Bailey, her 3rd. Still nobody really in foul trouble. A few with 3 around the board.
Well, we've seen a lot of shots right around the rim and nothing to show for it. On either team.
On both sides.
On either team. That's what I'm saying there. It's just hit half of those shots and we're right back in the game leading.
Gamby and Windsor in for Willette and McFarland. And that looked very painful as Kramer went to the ground. Coming
nice
back
job
the other way.
Wilcox to get back.
Looking ahead. Had Gamby. Pull up at the free throw line. No good. Windsor tries to connect. Oh, just barely at the line. Wilcox, perhaps a bad decision to let it go out, and a hustle play by the Nittany Lions to get it, saving the ball. The steal back and able to get it, but just
was on the other side of the
right there at the line.
Took it into the backcourt.
The lead is 12. It was 8 at the half. The Knights would love to at least match that margin in the next minute. Feel that they've gone even in this. And
they set a lot of flare screens for Carmo. The Knights need to be aware of that, because once she passes the ball away, someone's setting a flare screen for her, and then they're finding her again.
21 points for Caitlin Carmo. More than any 2 players on either team combined in this game.
She is one of the stars for Harrisburg, and she has performed well tonight. Nice drive.
Yep, stepping through. It's a good shot by Eads, but just didn't drop. It's the lob. Oh, and a player hitting the deck.
Yep, just got caught up with Windsor. Just both of them feet put together. Looked like she's going to be able to tap it ahead to herself. And fortunately, was able to fall down and went out of bounds for the Knights.
Well, and a heck of a job by Windsor to not let her get behind her and contest that. Not something you're used to seeing from your center. 30 seconds left.
Well, let's see if the Knights get the last shot of the game. Of the quarter.
Good pick set that time by Windsor, but not enough to free it up. Windsor back to the basket, turnaround, connects. But it does leave an offensive opportunity, but the Knights will get a 2-for-1 now. Willette Finds Gamby, who makes it. Known for her defense rather than her offense, but the Knights cutting it back now to 11. Again, they would have liked to see the margin be what it was at the half, at least at 8. But a couple of quick baskets there at the end prevent it from being significantly worse.
Yeah, the Knights, again, though, unable to really make any headway with a lot of shots really close to the basket. Looks like they're just hurrying them way too much, just trying to throw them up and then maybe get the rebound and put it back in. They need to be a little bit more deliberate. The Lions, on the other hand, they're finding their star, and she's delivering for them. And really, the Knights need to find her now, especially on those flare screens. Play her face guarder. Just someone stick with her.
Yeah.
You don't have any help defensive responsibilities. If you're going to get beat, have someone besides the star beat you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, you look at the stat sheet so far, and it's 21 for Carmo. After that, 9 for Yannick. I think as we said before, it's very clear who's beating you, and offensively, it looks like the Knights are taking shots assuming they're going to miss.
Yeah.
And hey, we better set up for the rebound because we're going to miss the shot. Hey, we better set up for the next possession. Hey, we better do this. You have to step in with some confidence, and it's difficult to say that when you're shooting 28%, but you have to. I mean, what's the alternative?
And in that quarter, no one went to the free throw line, which is crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Neither team went to the free throw line.
Well, perhaps not too crazy that Penn State Harrisburg didn't. They've only had 6 trips to the line so far in the game, but the Knights 21, and that's the same thing, though. You're being less aggressive. You're not because you're assuming it's not going to go in.
Well, here we go, Art. The last 10 minutes of the game. Let's see if the Knights can get it all together offensively and defensively and pull it out, coming back from this 11-point deficit.
The Knights did grow their turnover margin by 6, 8 turnover difference now. And what do you know? We said no one's going to the free throw line in the entire third quarter, but it takes all of 10 seconds to send somebody there.
Well, you know, there's Carmo, an inside-outside threat. In the third quarter, she was all about the outside, 3 after 3 after 3. First 10 seconds of this quarter, she goes in, posts up, and gets the foul.
Well, she's versatile. She's got the option to go either way. And in this case is delivering on that. Now scoring from the free throw line as well. And hitting them both. That free throw percentage now 7 for 8 for Penn State Harrisburg. The lead 13, Gamby. Thought about it, didn't like it. Willette off the rim. Gamby in the right place.
And that's going to be a foul on Carter. That's her third.
Key Carter, as you mentioned, the third foul. And you know, it's Gamby, again, not known for her offense, shooting 2 for 12, but has been such a huge defense. 5 steals, big defensive presence. And known for it or not, ooh, and a travel.
Yeah, and if Gamby could get her offensive output to match her defensive output.
Oh, my goodness.
What a player, right? Not that
Absolutely.
she's a bad player now. We loved seeing her out there on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Good job by Hartwigson knocking that one away, slowing down the setup, and Windsor as well. But with a 13-point margin, especially the way the Knights have struggled offensively, they're going to have to start scoring some points soon.
Some points and some stringing some points together, some stops and some points for themselves.
Lob into Key Carter. And
good, the ball went out of bounds there, because if the Lions could have repossessed it, that's another 30 seconds they could have run off the clock. And now the clock is going to slowly begin to be the enemy of the Knights.
And another very quick Willette Wilcox calling for help. Luckily, Windsor able to get over the top to Willette, who drives and then pulls out to set up the offense. A lot of dribbling. Over to Gamby, who drives and shoots and makes. 6 points for Gamby. Windsor steps in front.
Nice read.
And talking about stringing some stops and some points together.
Oh, and they're going to call Gamby on the reach.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know about that one. She was getting excited, swatted. Seemed like a pretty clean play on the ball to me, but it is what it is. But along the way, the Knights have cut the lead to 9. Single digits is somewhere they've not been in a while. And Gamby, not to be dissuaded by the foul call, is just everywhere. I do not know where she gets that energy. And an offensive foul.
Yeah, they're going to call it on Shelby for a moving block.
Ooh.
Moving screen.
Only her second, but you hate to see that, especially since the shot from Willette immediately following it went in.
Well, right now, anytime you set a screen, especially on a high ball screen, you have to make sure that your feet stay planted until the offensive player gets by you.
Willette for Wilcox. Common substitution, and
another foul on Gamby. And that's her 4th.
It is. So went from 2 to 4 very quickly. And that's going to send her to the bench and bring Willette back in, who just barely came out. And while we're subbing, why not? Janelle Brown for the Nittany Lions. Inbound is successful to Rachel Miller. She's got 3 fouls of her own. Up top to Carmo. The big threat for the Lions. McFarland's drawn the assignment. Five seconds left. Nittany Lions might not even get it off. They do, but
the shot clock violation.
Yeah. Shot didn't hit the rim.
Nope. But again, the clock's starting to be an enemy. That's 30 seconds that the Knights can't get back.
Yeah, the Knights have got to start. I mean, they've got to average catching up a point a minute the rest of the way, and then some, in order to win this basketball game. Over to Willette, back inside, pass off the mark. Willette now playing. Ooh, a lot of contact on that. All the way to the rim.
Should be the Knights' ball.
It is, out of bounds off of Carmo. Good defense, no foul that time.
Yeah, Carmo just came up a little bit short. Short arm that layup attempt. Saw the Knights collapsing on her. The Knights didn't foul, didn't make any contact, and she just was anticipating.
Becca Bailey enters for the Nittany Lions. Rachel Miller heads to the bench. Good to get the stop, but as we've mentioned, you've got to turn it into something offensively or it will not be enough. Wilcox thinks about going to Windsor, goes to Willette instead.
Double dribble. Yeah, this is watching Carmo against McFarland right now is a great matchup, both offensively and defensively. They're just really playing some great basketball against each other.
Nicole Muse enters for Southern Virginia. And an illegal screen coming the other way. That's Janelle Brown, her second foul.
Well, now what we hope is the referees don't start anticipating calls.
Right.
Especially on screens right now. So we want to make sure that.
Well, how do you not anticipate travels at this point?
Well, I'm talking about more for fouls.
Sure, I agree.
Because if they start anticipating fouls, that could really work against the Knights.
Willette loves that behind the back. Pass goes awry. Carmo drives, kicks. And a nice scoop to the bucket that time by Yannick. She's got 11. She's done well for the Nittany Lions as well. Willette for 3. She's got 9 on the game. The lead is 8. Knights have got to start cutting in, and you don't do it like that. Hartvigsen with the foul.
That's a tough way to stop that momentum of that nice shot that Willette got.
Well, we've said it before on this one as well, Mike, but on a drive like that, if you're going to commit the foul,
yep, do not let the ball get out of the hands.
No chance to make the basket. It is just 2. The Knights are now with a chance to answer. Kramer was open on the back door, but Hartvigsen couldn't get it to her. Not a lot of movement offensively by the Knights. McFarland able to connect with Willette. 5 seconds. Shot's got to go up. And it does hit. And
out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
To the Lions.
Not what you want from the offensive possession in a couple of ways. One, you don't want to take that much time.
That's true.
And second, at the end of the clock, I don't know that's the shot you want.
But the ball did go out of bounds. So if it's going to turn over, make sure it's out of bounds so the Lions don't have an opportunity to run it back down and get a fast break layup. Now they have to work against the pressure.
That's true. And that's been something that the Knights have really been able to cause some fits with, especially at the end of the first half. Not so this time. And shot from the corner is good.
You know, and I was just getting ready to make the comment that Carmo is out, and the Knights should be able to make up some ground here. But Yannick goes ahead and dispels that.
Free throw jumper is no good. And the Nittany Lions are off to the races. Oh, good look. And no problems with the contact for Brown. Absorbs and is still able to make the shot. 15.
Wilcox with the 3.
Oh, in and out.
But able to grab the loose ball.
Yeah, gets her own. That shot also off. And that just a silly foul that time by Hartvigsen. Her 4th.
Well, now the Lions are going to start the trip to the free throw line. And you can imagine that after about the 4-minute mark and lower, they're going to get Carmo back in and keep the ball in her hands as much as possible. Knights foul her. She is 4 for 4 from the free throw line.
Well, the team, though, for the Nittany Lions have been very impressive from the line. It's not been only Carmo. The free throw line has been the friend of the Nittany Lions so far in this game, as we see there by Yannick. Not so for Southern Virginia. Nicole Muse comes out along with Shea Wilcox. Willette and Gamby re-enter. And this has got to be, telling Jamila, look, we need your defensive pressure. You've only got 1 foul. We also need you to stay in the game. So.
And we just had a player walk onto the floor.
Yeah, Talking it over. It looked like, I could be wrong, I think what happened was Brittany Ulrich essentially checked herself out, thinking her sub was coming in, Rachel Miller, but did so prematurely.
Yeah. And that's fine. She can step off the court and back on. It's just as long as they don't have 6 players on the court.
Yep. Both free throws good by Yannick. And now the substitution comes in, and it's not even for her.
They've already shot their second one.
Yeah, it's for the shooter. That's why they stopped.
But one of the referees said that was the first shot.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. No, they can't give him another shot. They can't give him another shot.
The player that was shooting just checked out of the game. Yeah, both shots. I mean, the player there on the bench is saying, yeah, I shot too. Okay, we're good.
We're good.
So,
and I don't know if the fans at home can see, but we have a knight across the way.
We do.
Which has been.
We'll see if we can have our camera guy get you a shot of our.
But he's been active the whole game.
Absolutely.
Slaying imaginary dragons.
Dragons, yes. Lions, unfortunately, not so much
yet.
today.
Not yet.
There's still some time to go. The Knights offense has had opportunities in the past. And Willette has loved that shot. This time, it's not loving her back. The defensive pressure able to be broken, and the run out. The layup good at the other end by Ulrich. And now Gamby coming back the other way and makes it. Boy, she's really improved her shooting percentage over the last few minutes as well.
The layups are finally starting to drop for her.
Willette with the rebound.
And Gamby's in attack mode.
She is.
Oh, and they're going to call an offensive foul on Gamby. That's her 5th.
Okay.
Well, again, just like we saw going for the Knights, Gamby put the arm out just a little bit. The defender was retreating.
Yep.
So now the defensive pressure has to be ratcheted up by somebody else besides Gamby.
Well, it's a team concept they've been working on. Everybody's been doing it. And timeout taken. Brittany Ulrich able to get it across the line. And then found herself with a few more defenders around her than she'd like and calls the timeout. It's going to be a 30-second timeout.
And I'm going to try to find out how many timeouts both teams have.
Be very interesting to see. It's the way you use them down the stretch here with a 17-point differential. There's a lot of ground to be made up. So we'll have to see as the Knights apply pressure. You imagine the Nittany Lions are going to use them as a bailout, if you will, to use them.
Yeah, the Lions have 2 timeouts left. The Knights have 3. If the Knights can trap them in corners and they want to go ahead and call those timeouts, that'd be advantageous for the Knights.
Well, and if you look back to the last game here with St. Mary's and the fits that the pressure gave them for in certain situations, and the Nittany Lions as well here in the second quarter, it's entirely possible that could become very relevant and they could make points in bunches.
Yeah, but the Knights have to do something to cut into this 17-point lead.
Very true. And right now they're just chewing up clock, dribbling the ball around.
They've just gone to a 1-4 or a looks like a 4-out, 1 in.
3 seconds. And that's shot clock violation, which it's good defense. You love to see it, but
that's 30 seconds.
Yeah, if they take 30 seconds every possession, they don't even need to shoot at the end of it.
The game will be over.
So Knights have got to find a way to speed them up.
Well, they can't do too much to speed them up because they put them on the free throw line.
True. Hartvigsen, Willette. No good. Rebounded by Carter. Carmo. And across the middle.
And one. Looks like it'll be a foul on Windsor.
Windsor's third foul. Basket is good for Miller. You know, Miller's had some really impressive drives, made a couple of circus shots, and gets sent to the line as well, and just walks up, no big deal, no ritual, just gets the ball and puts it in. The lead now 20, the largest it's been, which does not bode well for the Knights.
And the legal screen on McFarland.
And the wheels are just coming off at this point, Mike.
Yeah, and this is one of the problems of playing this style of of pace. If you get this far behind, no matter what style you play, if you get this far behind and you go 2 or 3 people after the ball, someone's going to have layups on the other end.
Yeah, desperation mode for the Knights seeming to take the toll. Good defensive opportunity here, but able to break it. 3-on-2. Finding the shooter in the corner. It's long. Oh, but tips. Willett comes up with it. Looks ahead to Windsor.
Even the referee was laughing on that one.
Larissa McFarland with the basket. Oh my goodness. The run out is no good. Okay. Harvickson
got away with one there.
She stood there. She was like, well, the foul's going to be called, but not so much. Didn't let the hands get up, though, what we've been talking about.
Well, and the Lions are playing right into the Knights' hands. They do not have to shoot.
Yeah, well, they're picking up the pace. They're allowing themselves to be sped up. I guess they figure that the lead is sufficient. They want to do what they can, but I think that's exactly why Coach Patrick of the Nittany Lions is taking a timeout. He's going to say, look, I understand we've got this one in the bag, but situational offense,
exactly.
What are you doing?
Well, there were several times in games that when we were up this much and we were facing heavy amounts of pressure, I would tell the girls, I don't care if you shoot or not. Don't even worry about shooting. Possess the ball for 30 seconds.
Take the time.
If you get fouled, great. We don't have to shoot. And I got a lot of crazy stares coming back at me. I'm like, ladies, we're up by 20.
Yeah.
With a minute left. We don't have to shoot. It's okay. The Knights, though, have been fortunate in the fact that the Lions wanted to speed it up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Knights, they've been able to make the layups and the free throws.
Yeah. It's all you want to do is get to the bench with the time being 0.
Yes.
You've got the lead. All you have to do is wait.
That's it.
Oh, my goodness. I got to say one more time, though. This down here was beautiful.
That was
I don't know.
Carmo was trying to get the foul called. She knew that she wasn't going to get it. The referee sitting right in front of us was even laughing.
If this were the NBA, there would be some fines going out on that one.
Well, Carmo got up and she was even smiling, so she knew.
Yeah.
She knew. But that was a great job by the baseline referee not to be influenced by the sudden fall. It looked like she got shot by a 45-pounder.
Oh, I was thinking the knockout punch. It was that killer uppercut. Moving it around.
Yep, and here we're going to see they're going to take a lot of time off.
They are. Carmo, 10 seconds. Yannick. Oh. A lot of contact there, a bit of an elbow, 3 seconds, and that's what we're saying. Don't even shoot. But the shot does get off, apparently.
And again, why?
Why? Just reset.
Exactly, but that's helping the Knights out a lot.
Eads gives it to Muse. Another player hitting the deck. That's Scott, who's in the game. We did miss during that timeout. My apologies. Scott and Siegmiller in the game for the first time. Trying to get the inbounds in, able to do so. Back to the corner. And it's going to be off the foot of the defender. It'll stay with the Knights. 19 seconds left. On the shot clock, 1:09 here in the fourth quarter to play. Into Eads, over the top. Siegmiller unable to get it. And it's going to be turnover going the other way. Some contact on that.
That could be on Eads.
Some frustration. I think the refs are going to get together and make sure that this stays under control.
I don't know.
That is Eads' third.
And like you said, it has been a well-officiated game for the disjointedness that's been going on.
Oh, yeah.
They've maintained control. And for the most part, we can't really think of a lot of controversial calls.
It's true. It's really true. Or controversial non-calls. We've seen those from time to time
exactly.
as well.
We've seen the very controversial non-calls.
Anna Edmondson, Victoria Sweatlock, Bree Davis enter the lineup for the Nittany Lions. 1 for 2 for Yannick.
And now the Knights need to go straight to the basket. That's the last thing the Lions want to do is try to stop the clock. They need to drive to the basket.
And they do just that.
And the foul.
Eads able to score. And will go to the line as well. Davis wanted to make sure she gets in the stat book. She does with that foul, her first. Schwenk coming in as well.
Well, again, if you're the Knights, you have to be able to score quickly. And this is great that Eads was able to score quickly and get to the free throw line.
Yeah, always good to have the opportunity to score points when the clock is stopped. And over and back.
Wilcox can't take the ball again from the front court to the back court.
48.9 left. 17 points the difference. The Knights still fighting to close with a margin as small as they can get it.
And I would be surprised if the Lions take a shot with any time left on the clock, if they can keep on possessing it.
Scott able to come up with it. Wilcox trying to find Siegmiller, can't do it. Double dribble. And the shot clock should now be off as it is reset. 28 ticks left. Sweatlock in again for the Nittany Lions. Inbound to Muse. To Siegmiller. Good look inside to Eads. Few turnarounds. Siegmiller tries to save the possession but can't do so. The Knights continuing their press as they have all game and all season, frankly. The Nittany Lions able to get out in front of it. And looks like they will just dribble it out.
Well, we saw some positives for the Knights in this game. Again, it comes down to not being able to put the ball in the basket consistently. If they can do that, then this allows their pressure defense to be more effective. If they can't, then we see layup line after layup line after layup line.
Well, you can look at that just from the scores of the first three quarters. Penn State Harrisburg scoring 22 in the first, 19 in the second, 18 in the third. So the Knights' defense was, by appearance's sake, at least getting better. Unfortunately, the Knights 16, 17, 15. The Knights' best quarter, not as many points as in the Penn State Harrisburg's worst quarter. It's mathematics. That's how it works.
That's it. That's it. So there's some work for the Knights to do. Obviously, this drops them further back behind being one of the top 6 spots. We talked earlier that this win today could really put them up into the tie for 6th place. Now they're going to be back in the bottom, and it's just a harder road to climb now.
Well, it's especially harder because they're on the road for the next little while. We've mentioned easier to win games at home. You like to see them come away with those home victories, but now on the road for a while. Their next home contest is going to be on the 20th of January against Mary Washington. That's not going to be an easy matchup either.
Not an easy matchup at all. Some other scores that are going on right now with the women. We have Marymount beat York at York 61-33.
Whew.
Obviously, we have our own score here with Penn State, Harrisburg, and Southern Virginia. Salisbury got beat at Mary Washington 52-36. So it's there's a lot of things going on right now, and the only undefeated that is left for the women is going to be Mary Washington.
Well, and we'll see.
Excuse me, is Marymount.
Oh, right. Well, that'll do it for us today. A difficult loss for the Knights. Really just offense, the name of the game. Unable to get it together. Defense, some strong points. We'll see if they can put that together moving forward. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, the Southern Virginia Knights fall to the Penn State Harrisburg Nittany Lions. Stick around, though, for our men's game, which will follow here shortly in about a half an hour. What the heck? We got some stats. We'll talk for one more sec. Was going to wrap up, but since we have those come in, what jumps out to you right off the bat, Mike?
Well, again, the shooting percentage. We have in the first half 28% for the Knights. In the second half, only 31%. We're looking up at Penn State Harrisburg, 44 and 41%. If you can't shoot the ball, you're not going to score a lot of points.
Sure. 19 steals, though, for the Knights. You got to be enthusiastic about that versus the 14 of Penn State Harrisburg.
But offsetting the 19 steals was the 35 turnovers that the Knights have.
It's true. They did win the turnover margin, 40-35. But yeah, the 11 for 14 from the free throw line for Penn State Harrisburg, 11 for 22, and the big thing that jumps out to me there, 11 for 21 in the first half.
Yes.
So they went to the line only once in the entire second half.
And again, that's just a lack of offense, of continuity on offense, knowing what you want to do and trying to get to the free throw line. Something that we haven't seen the Knights really do before. We've always seen them trying to attack the basket and get to the free throw line, but only one attempt in the second half is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Well, once again, that wraps it up for us. 78-61, your final score. Penn State Harrisburg Nittany Lions women's basketball defeating the Southern Virginia Knights. Stick around for the men's game here in about 25 minutes. Thanks for joining us, everybody.